Hey guys, so today we're going to learn a new method of solving quadratic equations. So we've talked about solving quadratics with the graph, meaning we're looking at our graph to see where do we cross the x-axis. Then we talked about solving with factoring, where we take a quadratic function, we factor it, set those parentheses equal to 0, and then get our two solutions. And we've talked about using the square root method when we don't have a b value, meaning we don't have that middle term like we do here, bx. It's saying that we can solve using the square root. So a couple times though, we ran into some situations where we couldn't solve the equation. It wasn't a factorable example. We couldn't use the square root method because we didn't have, or because we had a b value. So what do we do in those situations? Well, we're going to use the quadratic formula, which hopefully you watched the song, the Pop Goes the Weasel song, before starting this video. But this method works for any quadratic. So something as simple as x squared minus 9 equals 0, or something as crazy as negative 48x squared plus 22x plus 10,000. This will work for any single quadratic equation. The only time it won't is if there is no solution. And remember, no solution just means we don't cross the x-axis, something like a graph that is above our x-axis there. So let's break down what the quadratic formula is. So the equation must be in standard form, meaning we have to have it equal to 0. So our x squared term is first, then our b term, and then our c term, our constant. So we have x squared, then x, and then our constant here. And we identified these as a, b, and c. So for example here, let's say this was 2x squared plus 4x minus, let's say 6. I'm making this up on the spot here. So if this is our quadratic, our a is 2, b is 4, and c is negative 6. So again, whatever value goes with the x squared, the x, and then our constant. And then we take those a, b, and c values and we plug them into the quadratic formula. So our quadratic formula is x equals the opposite of b. So we're saying the opposite, just like we said opposite before, with the opposite of b over 2a, when you're looking for our vertex. So we said the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. That seems like a lot, I know, but the more we practice it, it's going to become very natural, and you'll be able to rattle it off by the end of this. Or maybe you'll be singing it every time as I sing it in my head. So then once we have plugged this into our quadratic formula, we need to simplify it. So we figure out what part's under the radical in our calculator first. And we want to make sure we use parentheses. Parentheses are so important here because we're working with negatives, we're adding, subtracting, and we're multiplying. We're doing all of this. We're using exponents, so we need to watch our parentheses. And I'm going to show you today how we actually can put that into our calculator. And then we have to see if we need to simplify the radical at all. So if we look here, we're going to do a quick review of simplifying radicals before we get into this. So we did this briefly last week. But something like the square root of 7, we don't need to simplify. And by don't mean to simplify, we just can leave it as the square root of 7. And we need to find an exact answer and an approximate answer using our calculator. So what is the difference here? So we've talked briefly before, exact means that we leave it as the square root. So the square root is the most specific answer. We're not rounding it. We don't have some sort of extended decimal. So our exact answer is the square root of 7. The approximate answer is when we do a decimal. So in my calculator here, if I were to do the square root of 7, and then I hit that arrow button to simplify it, or to make it into an approximate, 2.65 we can say. So our approximate would be 2.65. So it's important to make sure we know the difference. Exact has the square root, approximate has decimal. So on Math Excel, make sure you understand which is which and that you round to the proper specifications. So if we have the square root of 8, we must simplify the radical. Because square root of 8 has a perfect square in it, we can simplify that to square root of 4 and the square root of 2. And the square root of 4 is 2, and we leave it as the square root of 2. So this would be which one? The exact answer. If we wanted to find the approximate, in our calculator, we would say 2 times the square root of 2. And Oops. Got a syntax error there. Okay, let's see. There we go. And I'll hit enter first. Oh my goodness. There we go. Okay, so then to get my approximate, it would be 2.83. So again, exact answer first, and then the approximate below. Okay, so the next thing is, what if we have a perfect square, like the square root of 25? That means we just take the square root of 25 and we would get 5. And that is the exact answer there. So we wouldn't have an approximate. And then lastly, what happens if we have a negative? As we saw last week, a negative value under the square root is not possible. There's no negative number that can ever be taken the square root of. So we would say there's no solution, okay? So let's actually try this here. So number one, we have 2x squared minus x minus 2. Again, we are on page 32 here. So based on what's above here, my first 2 is my a value. Then I have b is -1. And c is -2. So let's put this into our formula. So we have the opposite of b. So b here is -1. So that would mean I would do -1. Then I want to do b squared, so -1 squared, minus 4 times a, and a is 2, and c is -2. And that's all over 2a. And so 2 times 2. So again, I want to keep everything in parentheses here. And now I'm going to simplify. So -1 gives me a +1. And then I want to carefully put this into my calculator, the -1 squared. So I've, in parentheses, -1 squared minus 4 times 2 times -2. And of course, I don't need my calculator for this. I have confidence that you guys can do this without your calculator, because if I do -1 squared, that is 1. And then I have minus 4 times, well, 2 times -2 is -4. So that would be 1 plus 16. So when I actually put that in my calculator, I should get 17, which I do. So again, I don't need the calculator. I could do this without. So now I have 1 plus or minus 17, and then 2 times 2 gives me 4 here. So my exact answer is 1 plus or minus the square root of 17 divided by 4. Remember, this is two answers. I have 1 plus the square root of 17 divided by 4, and 1 minus the square root of 17 divided by 4. So we need to actually find what these answers are. So I am in my calculator, need to find our two approximate answers. So I would say 1, I'll do the +1 first. Let's do parentheses actually. So 1 plus the square root of 17. Oh my goodness, let's start over here. Okay, 1 plus the square root of 17. My per usual, my documented camera is a little behind what I'm actually typing. 1 plus the square root of 17 divided by 4. So I'm going to simplify that to get 1.28. And we'll round to the hundredths today. So next, I need to do 1 minus the square root of 17. So 1 minus the square root of 17. And I'm going to divide that by 4. And when I do that, I get -0.78. So -0.78. So again, this here is my exact answer, and this is my approximate answer. Okay, so let's try another example. We'll flip to the next page here. So we're going to solve x squared plus 12x plus 3. Okay, so I have opposite of b. So again, I have a, b, and c. So I have 12 squared minus 4. A is 1, c is 3, and 2a, 2 times 1. So again, you're going to have to go back to that formula, and you'll slowly get faster. So I get -12. And here I have 12 squared, which is 144. 4 times 1 times 3, which means minus 12. So when I do that, I get 132. And all of that is divided by 2. So if it asks us for our exact answer, or sorry, approximate answers, we could take this value right here, negative 12 plus the square root of 32 divided by 2. And then I could do negative 12 minus the square root of 32 divided by 2. And that would give me my approximate. But I need my exact, which means I need to simplify this. So I'm going to get negative 12. Well, the square root of 32 is divisible by 4. So I'll have the square root of 4 and the square root of 33 all divided by 2. So that leaves me with negative 12. The square root of 4 becomes 2, and I can't simplify the square root of 33 anymore, so I leave it as the square root of 33, and that's all divisible by 2. So if you remember our rule with radicals, anything outside the radical can be simplified with what's outside. Anything inside the radical can be simplified with what's inside, but we can't crisscross those, right? So for example, the square root of 2 divided by 4, that's fully simplified because the 2 is in the radical and the 4 is not. So this is fully simplified. So again, cannot simplify what's on the outside. So what I need to look at is, do these three numbers, negative 12, 2, and 2, do they have a common factor? And they do. They are all divisible by 2. So I can do negative 12 and 2 divided by 2, and I leave my 33 because it's in a different format. So negative 12 divided by 2 gives me negative 6. 2 divided by 2 gives me 1, so that just turns, we can leave it as the square root of 33. Okay? So now I can plug this into my calculator. Negative 1 plus the square root of 33. And then I'll do, so I get negative 0.26. And then if I will do negative 6 minus the square root of 33, which gives me negative 11.74. And again, we could have gotten these answers from up here if we were just looking for the approximate. Okay, we're going to skip through because it's the same as 2. And we're going to hop over to number 4 and 5. Okay, so for number 4 here, again, A, B, and C, always the same. Right now, all of these are in standard form, but we have to watch out because sometimes they're not going to be. So I have negative 12 minus 4 times A times C all over 2A. So negative 12 gives me a positive 12. This number is always going to be positive, guys. Whether we're squaring a negative, or sorry, I guess I should say after we take the square. Because if we're squaring a negative or a positive, we're getting a positive number every single time, right? Because the square is going to always give us a positive number. So I have 144, and then 4 times 4 times 5, well, I get 16 times 5, which is 144 minus 80, so what's left is 64. And 2 times 4 gives me 8, so this is nice because guess what? We have a perfect square. So we're doing 12 plus or minus 8 over 8, because square root of 64 is 8 here. So then I have two different equations, right? Because I have to do 12 plus 8 divided by 8 and 12 minus 8 divided by 8. Remember, this is two answers here. So 12 plus 8 divided by 8 gives me 20 over 8, which is 5 halves. So one of my x values, one of the places where I cross the x-axis, is at 5 halves. And the other one is 12 minus 8 divided by 8, which equals 4 over 8, which equals 1 half. So my other place I cross is at 1 half. So those are my two solutions. So our last example here, x squared minus 4x plus 5. So I have negative 4, 1, and 5 all over 2 times 1. When I simplify what's under the radical, I get 4 plus or minus negative 4 over 2. We can never have a negative number, so no negatives, which means no solution here. Okay, go ahead and do the next two examples on the next page, and watch out if we have a negative under that square root. Okay, submit those on Canvas.